Hello and welcome back once again to CBSE Board Economics. Well, today we'll be discussing about money flow. You remember in the last video we discussed about real flow, circular flow of income. That's the main topic in national income accounting. Circular flow of income is a very important chapter or very important concept in whichever part of economics, in whichever board examination you are appearing for, whether it is in India or abroad. This topic will help you. Follow carefully. I'll be explaining you as simple. I put the concept in as simple as you can. I'm sure you'll follow it. In case of any difficulty or doubts, please do write in the comment box. We'll surely, definitely will reply to your questions. Well, we'll go ahead with this circular flow of income. In the circular flow of income, we discussed there are two flows. One is a real flow, the first one. And the second one is money flow. What exactly is real flow? Real flow in economics is in terms of goods and services. Real in economics is in terms of goods and services. For example, we can take a farmer or some laborers working in a farmland. He worked there for a day. At the end of the day, instead of getting maybe 1,000 rupees, he would be getting maybe 10 kilograms of rice or wheat for his services. That is real flow. That is, goods were exchanged in place of his services. That is real flow. What exactly is real flow in economics? Real flow means that is flow of goods and services from one sector to the other sector. Flow of goods and services from one sector to the other sector. For example, we discussed it last time. Households are the owners of four factors of production. We discussed it. Land, labor, capital and enterprise or entrepreneurship. They own all the four factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. They provide these factor services to the firms. Firms manufacture goods and services, and in return for their factor services, the firms give the households goods and services. That is real flow. That means real flow is taking place from households to firms when they provide factor services in terms of land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. In return, the firms are giving them goods and services. That exactly is real flow. Now, today in this video, we'll be discussing money flow. What exactly is money flow? I'll go off the screen. You can see it here. Please see the screen. Circular flow of income, money flow. Well, once again, we'll take it. Households, I just told you, are the owners of four factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship or enterprise. They provide these factor services to the firms. Some households provide them land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship to the firms. And firms, in return, pay to the households factor payments. Which are these? They pay to land, rent, wages and salaries to the labor, interest to the profits. You can see the arrows here from firms to the households as factor payments. That means here the money flow is taking place from firms to households. What do the households do when they earn this money? They give it to the firms again as consumption expenditure. They go and buy. They buy from the firms anything. They can buy it from the firms, anything. It can be in terms of car, it can be in terms of computer, it can be in terms of a mobile phone, or it can in terms of any rice, wheat and all. And they give the money, households, to the firms as consumption expenditure. So the money is flowing from households to the firms. That is why it is called circular flow of money here. Money is flowing from firms to households as factor payments, wages, rent, interest and profits below. You can see it here. and consumption expenditure is flowing from households to firms. This keep on flowing in the economy all the time. That's why it is flowing in a circular manner from firms to households, from households to the firm. That's why it is called circular flow of income. It is flowing in a circular manner. It is circular flow of income. I repeat once again. Why do we call it circular flow? Because the income or the money is flowing in a circular manner from one sector to the other sector. It is called circular flow of money or circular flow of income. Well, there are two circular flows of income in economics. There are two circular flow. One is a real flow, one is a money flow. What exactly is real flow? Real flow means flow of goods and services from one sector to the other sector. That is real flow. For example, we are just taking two sectors here, households and firms. Households are the owners of four factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. They provide their factored services to the firms. That means real flow is taking place from households to the firms. In return, if the firms give them goods and services, again real flow is taking place from firms to the households. That is called real flow. What exactly is money flow? But these days what happens is, first households, the owners of four factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, they provide their factored services to the firms to produce goods and services. Of course, the firm produce goods and services and sell them and pay to the households as rent, wages and salaries, interest and profits. Money flow is taking place from firms to the households, and households spend that money as consumption expenditure. From households to firms, money flow is taking place. That's why it's called circular flow of income. That means, I'm sure you must have followed it. In simple terms, in one sentence, real flow means in terms of goods and services, money flow means in terms of money. Real flow means flow of goods and services from one sector to the other sector. Money flow means flow of money from one sector to the other sector. That's a very simple one. The next question we will be discussing in another video, that is called circular flow of income in a two-sector economy. In that video, we'll be discussing both real flows as money flows, how it happens. That's what we'll be discussing it. Well, I'm sure you must have followed it. Please keep watching the videos. Automatically you will be able to learn it. That's all we have time for this small video. Till we meet next time, goodbye from Saddam Hussain. Bye bye guys. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like our videos. Do comment in case of any difficulty. Bye bye.